All right, today we're going to tackle a huge challenge facing pretty much every big business out there. How do you connect the old, reliable systems that run your company to the new AI brains that could totally revolutionize it? But let's start with a big question, just to set the stage. What if your business could actually run itself? I don't just mean automating a few tasks. I mean making smart, autonomous decisions 24/7. Now, this isn't sci-fi anymore. It's the real promise of a new kind of AI. To really get how we make that happen, you've got to see the two worlds living inside most companies today. On one side, you've got the fortress. That's your ERP system. It's the vault, right? It holds all the treasure, your financials, supply chain data, everything. It's super powerful, super reliable, but let's be honest, it was built for a different time. Then, on the other side, you have this new digital workforce. These are autonomous AI agents. And they're not just tools. Think of them like a brand new team that can think, plan, and actually do things. And here's the problem. There is a huge divide between them. The fortress doesn't speak the language of this new digital workforce. And the agents? Well, they can't get past the castle walls to get the data they need to be useful. This disconnect, it's the single biggest bottleneck holding back real AI value in your business today. So, how do we bridge this gap? The very first step is to build a kind of universal translator. And this is where a new open standard called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, comes into play. Now, the formal definition is that MCP is an open standard for secure communication between AI and enterprise systems. The whole idea here is to stop building 1,000 different custom connections that always break, and instead just create one solid, consistent way for everything to talk to each other. But let's just cut through the jargon. Think of MCP as a universal translator for all your software. It lets your shiny new AI agents and your old trusted ERP system finally have a real, secure conversation for the very first time. So, how does it actually work? Well, it's a pretty straightforward 3-step process. First, the AI agent connects to an MCP server. Then, that server acts like a security guard. It exposes very specific pieces of ERP data as resources that the AI can look at, and specific actions as tools that the AI is allowed to use. And then finally, the AI agent can use those pre-approved tools to safely read data or perform an action, like say updating a customer record or kicking off a workflow right inside the ERP. Okay, so now our systems can talk. That's a huge step, but we still have the issue of the old fortress itself. For decades, the only way people thought you could modernize a legacy system was what they called the Big Bang approach, basically a complete rip-and-replace project. And this method, it's famously dangerous. The risk is just massive. With a big bang, you have to freeze all new development for years, basically betting the entire company on one giant, terrifying cutover weekend. If one thing goes wrong, the whole system can just collapse. It's a crazy high-stakes gamble that most businesses just can't afford to lose. Thankfully, there's a much, much smarter way to do this, and it's actually inspired by nature. It's called the Strangler Fig pattern, and it's a blueprint for renovating your fortress without having to tear it down all at once. Yeah, the name comes from a real tree. It's a fig tree that starts its life on an older host tree. It slowly wraps its roots around the host, getting stronger and stronger until eventually it completely replaces the original tree. And in the software world, we do the exact same thing. We build new, modern services around the old system piece by piece, gradually taking over. And when you put the two approaches side by side, wow, the difference is just stark. With a big bang, the risk of catastrophic failure is super high. With the Strangler Fig, any errors are isolated to one small new piece. You get zero downtime because the new and old run in parallel, and you start getting real value in weeks, not years. It's no-brainer. So here's the game plan. First, you put a little thing called a proxy in front of your old system. It's like a traffic cop that intercepts all the incoming requests. Then you pick just one function, something simple like looking up inventory, and you build that as a brand new modern service. Now, the traffic cop redirects only those inventory requests to your new service. Everything else still goes to the old system like nothing ever changed. You just repeat that cycle, piece by piece, until the old system has been fully strangled, and you can just turn it off. So let's recap. We've built the bridge with MCP. We've safely renovated the fortress with a Strangler Fig pattern. So what's the big payoff for all this work? Well, welcome to the agentic ERP.
This is a business that doesn't just record what happened, it acts on its own.
This is a really fundamental shift. Your ERP is no longer just a passive database, a simple system of record. It becomes an intelligent, proactive system of action where these autonomous agents can run entire business processes from start to finish. And the scale of this opportunity, it's just staggering. According to McKinsey, AI is projected to generate somewhere between $17 and $26 trillion in global economic impact. But here's the kicker. That value is only unlocked when AI is deeply connected to the core systems that run the business, like your ERP. So what does this actually look like in the real world? Okay, in finance, you could have a procurement agent that sees commodity prices are spiking and automatically starts renegotiating terms with suppliers. Or picture an agent that detects a weird financial anomaly and just kicks off a compliance check all by itself. No human needed. And in the supply chain, this is where it gets really powerful. Imagine an agent that can reschedule your entire production line in real time to maximize output because a shipment was delayed. Or a maintenance agent that analyzes sensor data, predicts a machine is about to fail, and schedules the repair before it breaks down. That's a game changer. And this thinking can transform every department, even HR. You could have AI agents that give truly personalized career path recommendations to every single employee. Or agents that completely automate and customize the onboarding for new hires, handling all the boring logistics and scheduling so your team can focus on the human connection. So let's bring it all together. What is the big takeaway here? Why does all this technical stuff about bridges and patterns actually matter to you and your business? It's really about a fundamental change in perspective. For years, we've all been taught to see our old legacy systems as these huge liabilities that we need to replace. But the real insight here is that your ERP is actually an irreplaceable asset. It holds decades of your company's business logic and data. It is the perfect training ground for your new digital workforce. Look, the era of the intelligent, autonomous business is already starting. The digital workforce has arrived. So the only question left to ask is, are you ready to build the bridge?